Stagecoach. I knew it was one of them things. From Stagecoach, Nevada, will you please welcome a very talented cowboy poet and my great good friend, I think he stays up nights thinking of new ways to be nice to me, Mr. Harold Roy Miller.
I think that's going to stay there. Okay, my first poem is called Running a Ranch. What's it take to run a ranch? A lady asked the cowboy. I've always heard the Western life is a life of tranquil joy. With thoughtful eyes, the cowboy stared at the lady for a while. He said, I'll tell you what it is I know, and he flashed her a mischievous smile. He said, first off, you must obtain some land where you can raise some stock and get you a house and a 10-stall barn that'll keep you forever in hock. You're going to need some cattle and a cutting horse or two, and then you'll work from caint to caint since you can't afford a crew. You're going to need a tractor. It's a necessity you must have, and your corrals have to be strong enough to hold in a mama cow when it's time for her to calve. You'll have to prepare for winter months by laying in tons of hay, and you got to be tough to work out in the weather day after mundane day. Roundups, brandings, and a million other things are going to take up all your time, and most of the time your clothes are going to be covered in manure and grime. You forget about ever having a day off, because ranching is 24/7, and you may have to do some unholy type jobs to preserve your little piece of heaven. So that's the basics of running a ranch, cowboy elaborated, as romantic notions faded away and the lady's interest faded. Now he could see after all that he was losing her attention, so he said, ma'am, there's one more thing that I forgot to mention. The absolute most important thing to help you run a spread is to get you a wife to do these chores, so you can lay up in the bed. Thank you. And speaking of a wife, my wife is one of them complex gals who's always moving the horse corrals. She counts on me to supply the brawn to get this relocation done. At first, I thought it was kind of funny, and I was happy to please my honey. I'd move any enclosure on the place just to see her satisfied face. If she spots a board that's apt to splinter or something's just a little off center, I guarantee you this type of fence will never attain true permanence. She usually gives me a great big kiss, then says, honey, you're going to hate me for this. I know then what's about to commence. She's going to ask me to move another fence. She has 20/20 hindsight vision, which contributes to her indecision, and I used to take it all in stride. Now I find some place to hide. In fact, it's time to make my escape. She's walking the porch with a measuring tape, and I greatly fear my darling spouse is about to ask me to move the house. Anyway, we live Stagecoach. We raise horses. We do it for fun and for poverty, and every once in a while, it's easier to buy a horse than it is to sell it, but every once in a while we'll sell one, and every once in a while we'll buy one, and this, I'm competing with cows, better than sheep anyway. This poem is called, you can get took in those kind of deals, and this is called Horse Trader. Blacksmith Murray Winslow could sell you an equine, and you wouldn't find out till later. The horse was probably lame or blind. He was that good of a horse trader. He was such a cunning master at his craft that when he was making a sale, folks in the know could hardly contain their laugh as he weaved his gullible spell. The picture he exuded was honesty and grace, and I'd have to say he was nervy. He'd take a horse never been in a race and make you think it won the Kentucky Derby. I'll never forget the day a stranger came to town saying he needed a horse in a hurry. One of the saloon bums hanging around made tracks to get old Murray. Murray showed up and said, gather round, cowpokes, and watch me dupe this buyer. Then he invoked his infallible hoax, this seasoned, accomplished liar. Now the horse being sold was a sorry excuse, hardly bigger than a pony. It was a ewe-necked, splay-footed old wild-eyed cayuse. Its back and its ribs were bony. The stranger listened raptly to one of Murray's spills, and then he bought the flea-bitten mount. He paid him in cash, crisp $20 bills, so many that I lost count. Murray was laughing as he strode to the bank. He pranced and he crowed all the way. But the deceitful blacksmith's heart quickly sank when he heard what the banker had to say. He said, "Murray, I know you like to swindle and then brag, but this time it strikes me as funny. Sure, you stuck that stranger with that pitiful nag, but he's paid you with counterfeit money." Thank you. Okay. This one's called Educated Cowboy. The new hand, Lyle, had a master's degree in science, English, and trigonometry. We figured he was just an educated nerd and would know nothing about working a herd. We were sitting there discussing the price of beef when Lyle rode up and said he was a night relief. Then he pointed to some steers on the grassy hill and started to converse with my partner Bill. Now what the dude was saying didn't make much sense, but I didn't want to show myself dense, so I kept quiet because I knew ignorance was bliss. But their conversation went something like this. "Lyle, those Nigrescent bovines certainly have gramnivorous ways." Bill, "Nah, them just black Angus, and they like to graze." Lyle, "Well, are there any carnivorous feline predators here?" Bill, "No, but every now and then a cougar will pull down a steer." Lyle, "Well, those westerly cumulonimbus are certainly a needed drought cure." Bill, "I don't know about that, but them dark clouds yonder mean it's gonna rain for sure." Lyle, "Well, should I use that Populus Fremonti as a shelter from the downpour?" Bill, "No, that's what we use that old cottonwood over there for." Well, Lyle, "If the steers become unruly, should I orate a melodious sonnet?" Bill, "No, just sing to 'em, doggone it." Well, Lyle, "Well, should I keep them away from those Datura seeds?" "Yeah, you can do that, but, yeah, they can eat that, but keep them away from them loco weeds." This talk went on for 5 minutes or so, and Bill finally decided it was time for us to go. Lyle quit talking, which at that point seemed wise, because Bill was biting his lip and rolling his eyes. As we rode away, Bill scratched his head, and I had to laugh at what he said. He muttered, "That college feller, he sure likes to prattle, but he don't know diddly about ranching or cattle." Have you ever seen somebody that had something that you felt you deserved and you felt that they didn't? This is called Shorty's Gal. I met her at the annual Rancher's Ball. Someone said she came down from Montreal. She was with a wrangler named Shorty McNatt, a buckaroo who worked out on Stockton Flat. Now she was a dainty morsel, dignified and slim. But what was she doing with the likes of him? This guy was obnoxious and full of insufferable pride, and this situation was already starting to chap my hide. Now Shorty was well known for his cussing and drinking and being mentally challenged when it came to thinking, and I heard he often frequented the local jail and suffered the occasional blackout spell. Now I was already smitten with this lady of class, and I didn't want her saddled with someone so crass. I was also fairly certain he'd up and leave her, and she'd never find happiness with this underachiever. So I formulated myself an ingenious plan to steal her away from this inferior man, and it gave me a feeling of complete satisfaction as I began to put my slick plan into action. As soon as I saw old Short Stuff by himself, I went over and patronized the little elf. I handed him a drink that I just made and told him it was a gourmet lemonade. Now, it was actually a mixture of strong whiskey, gin, and scotch, and I found me a vantage place where I could watch. It didn't take long. The liquor worked quickly, and Shorty was stumbling around looking rather sickly. I then hurried on over and asked the lady to dance, knowing that I had wrangled my chance. I turned on the gentlemanly cowboy charm as I offered, and she graciously took my arm. We danced one dance, and I tried to break the ice and show this lady I was really quite nice. We finished a waltz and asked her for another. but she said she needed to go and find her brother. She wanted to make sure he stayed sober because he was in AA and been on the wagon since October. But the way he was staggering, she feared some ornery skunk had slipped him some alcohol and gotten him drunk. I stood there forlorn on that dance floor. Then like a coyote, I skulked out the side door. My bubble of happiness had been popped like a blister. How was I to know my dream girl was Shorty's sister? Thank you.